Hi, this is Tim Judge, and welcome back to Subnautica. As you can see, while I was away not recording, I made a lot of additions to my sea base. It is now much bigger. It's still pretty empty because there really isn't a whole lot to put in your sea bases right now. The developers have said that they're going to be adding glass corridors and at least something called the moon pool, which will be able to dock your Seamoth. And I basically just put a whole bunch of stuff in for show. Well, right now, if you remember from last time, we found 5 lithium, which is enough lithium to make the Cyclops. But we still need some stalker teeth, which is why I am here in the kelp forest. Oh hey, I missed a window. I'll put that in later. Things are a little bit choppy, but I think that actually isn't the recording this time. I think that's actually part of it is the game. So I'm looking around for stalker teeth. One trick is to try and find places where they've been storing scrap metal. I'm not seeing any of that right now. So let's surface and see what we can find. Now, one concern is if I get too close to the Aurora, I may get attacked by a Reaper. That would end my excursion immediately, basically. The Reaper can destroy your Seamoth, it can destroy you. Basically, the only thing it can't destroy is the Cyclops, but it can push the Cyclops around. So, be careful. Some scrap metal. No stalker teeth, though. Now we're getting into the grassy plains. This could be a little troublesome. Not even seeing any stalkers. Oh, here's one. He's going for some metal. Will he drop a stalker tooth? Nope, not this time. Maybe we can tempt him.
Warning, 30 seconds of oxygen remaining.
So I dropped the scrap metal in hopes that he'll come pick it back up, because that is when they drop stalker teeth. Basically, I'm going to try farming the stalker. It could work. And as I'm descending, I'm also pressing the C button in addition to the W button so that I descend as fast as possible. There he goes. I'm trying to get it. Oh! No, thank you. So remember, the stalker teeth are used to make enameled glass. So you need 5 enameled glass and 5 plasteel ingots to make the, and it's getting darker here, these Cyclops.
Warning, 30 seconds of oxygen remaining.
This is honestly the worst luck I've ever had looking for stalker teeth. They're usually much easier to find than this. There's plenty of scrap metal. Oh, there's one. Stalker tooth. So yeah, that's what they look like. They're basically just kind of off-white curved cones, like, you know, stalker tooth. They are hard to find. You can also see over there this flashing B1. That is a beacon that I put near my base so that I can always find it, no matter how far I am from it. Of course, there's a good chance that since I'm distracted talking to everybody, I have missed stalker teeth. Just getting the seam off. I know that sounds pretty bad, but if you look at my health, it's actually not dropping when I do that. Well, it did there. But yeah, your Seamoth is actually pretty hardy. This is not working. Let's try some other kelp forests. There are other ones. There's this one on the opposite side of the shallow. There's a stalker. Where there are stalkers, there are stalker teeth. Oh, look at that, 2. So stalkers have places where they deposit these scrap metal pieces, and they'll try to take them from each other's stashes. So where you find a stalker or a scrap metal stash, you'll often find some stalker teeth. So there's another one. How many do we have now? 4. So 1 more and we're good. I need to find another one. I'm playing today with the graphics set on highest, which is still experimental. So there may be some graphical glitches, and I have noticed a little bit of stuttering, even though this really shouldn't be taxing my graphics card. So, one odd thing that you'll note about the biology around here, oh, here's my last one. A lot of the sea creatures here move up and down when they swim. And if you look at real-world Earth aquatic organisms, that's actually pretty unusual. Most of them move side to side. But you'll notice that whales move up and down. That's because the ancestors of whales were terrestrial predators, and so when you're running on the ground at high speeds, like mammal predators, having your spine flex up and down helps give you extra speed. Whereas if you're, say, like a lizard and you have your spine moving side to side, it actually tends to cost you extra energy to come up to speed rather than giving you a boost like a flexing up and down spine. And while I'm talking, I'm going to make some enamel glass. So what that means is, in the real world, when you see animals whose spines flex up and down, they're adapted for running. And in the case of whales and dolphins, their ancestors were. So what that would mean is that if this were a real world and the animals here really evolved, then you would think that a lot of them would actually have terrestrial ancestors. I'm actually guessing that the developers have not thought that far ahead. Alright, well there's all the enamel glass we need. Now, I left my lithium in my sea base, so I'm going to go back and get it. Where did I put my sea moth? Hold on, let's double check our Cyclops ingredients. We also need an advanced wiring kit. Let's see what we need for that. Gold and a computer chip. That's not too bad. Just picked up some silver. Just need some jewel discs. That's easy. There should be plenty all around those safe shallows. There's some. Alright, computer chip. So the gold is back in my storage container in my sea base. And, you know, I think that despite the fact that I told you earlier that the sea moth doesn't despawn, mine seems to have despawned. Alright. Here I am at the top of this stack. So, I don't know if this is a glitch, but you'll notice that if you look far enough in your sea base, it starts to get that blue haze like you're underwater. My guess is that there's a plan to change that, but right now that's still how it is. Alright, so let's grab some gold. Some... oh, I don't need those. Go. Gold, get a computer chip, lithium. Alright. We should be able to make everything we need now. There's an advanced wiring kit. Some plasteel ingots. Once we make this, we should be set. And once I have a Cyclops, I'm actually going to head off to the Aurora, because there's a little event there that you can accomplish where you fix the reactor core, and then at that point you can... I only have 4 in class. At that point you can stop the radiation from spreading. Oh, there it is. I need one more of these. And once you stop the radiation from spreading, you can change out some of the pieces of your dive suit. So you can get the still suit, which if you're a fan of Frank Herbert's Dune series, you'll recognize as the suit that the natives of Arrakis used to reclaim their body, where they were expended moisture, so from waste and sweat. And suddenly my Seamoth is back. You can also get a rebreather, which will lessen the effects of depth, which don't seem to be fully implemented in the game yet, but still, you can make it. Seamoth went pretty far away. Alright. One thing to note about the Seamoth is if you exit it while traveling at high speed, it can damage you, so you should try stopping before you exit it. Alright, here we go, Cyclops. And look how big that is. It's enormous. Just gigantic. And of course, it's stuck on a little reef there, but that should be okay. So I'll tell you what, you can name the Cyclops, and I will let the first person who comments with a, let's keep it PG-13 name, I will let that person name it and also pick some colors. The colors are based on this little graph here, and you can either just name colors, or if you want you can put a hex code in and I'll try to match it as closely as I can. Alright, so this submarine does not work quite the same way as the Cyclops. So your A and D keys rotate the submarine, your W key puts it forward, and your S key moves it backwards. C and spacebar still go up and down, but you have the freedom to look around while you're doing this. So it's a slightly different control scheme, but it's not too different. And right now I'm going to get my Seamoth, because you can actually dock the Seamoth at the bottom of the Cyclops. Alright, here we go. And this is actually one of the few transition animations in the game, is right there. And as of now, in the newest version, you can now open and shut these hatches. Here we come back to the engineering section. So we've got 3 power cells here and 3 on the other side, and we've also got this upgrade console. There's one upgrade that's over in the Aurora, and then there are a few more that you can build later on. So right now, let's head to the Aurora and figure out which direction it's in first. There it is. So, to get into the engine section, you have to go towards the forward end of the ship. And when you get there, there's a space between some of the frames that you can go through. Also, if you left mouse button click, you'll get a little horn. And it actually sounds kind of similar to the reefback call. And if there are reefbacks around, they'll call back to you. So, that's kind of fun. I'm hoping that at some point we might see some Reapers. They are the largest organisms that are currently in the game, although there's a planned Sea Emperor creature that's supposed to be even bigger, which honestly seems a little horrifying to me. Yeah, when you get it out towards the Aurora, you start getting some creepy sounds. There's also a unique creature that lives on the wreckage of the Aurora. The beach crab, I believe is what it's called. They are technically hostile, but they're pretty easy to avoid damage from. They just kind of jump at you slowly. So, just give them a fairly wide berth. But even when they do hit you, it actually doesn't cause very much damage, so they're not a big concern. They're just more of a minor annoyance. Alright, so you can see here that this is gap, and I'm going to surface so it's easier to see. Yeah, you're going to want to come in right through here. Well, that was definitely the sound of a Reaper. I believe that there are 3 that spawn in the game here. And, like I said, they are the most dangerous creatures in the game. They can't hurt your Cyclops. Your Cyclops is essentially immune if you keep it above its safe depth. Below that, collisions will cause it to lose health, and it does have a crush depth, unlike the Seamoth. You can increase this with certain upgrades. So, this little metal platform here will get you into the Aurora. So now that I'm right up next to it, right mouse button to leave the driver's seat. And get out of here. So there are a few of these little storage containers here, and they have random items in them. In this case, it's a first aid kit. First aid kits will heal 50% of your health. Oddly enough, in this playthrough, I haven't actually taken damage yet, which is strange. I don't know if I'm just being extra cautious. But, on and around the Aurora are basically the only place where supply crates come up. Picking up the signal. So, signals will let you know your distance to some particular significant landmark. But last time I followed one, it didn't seem to really work very well. So, I don't know if they're still bugged or just not fully implemented. The X is a stand-in model. They're going to have their own model at some point, presumably, assuming they don't get cut from the game. You can see they do already have their own symbol in the inventory, which is a little waveform. First aid kit. So, there is molten... Oh, there, I just got hit by a beach crawler. There is molten metal that falls from the upper parts of the Aurora, and it will damage you, so watch out for it. Power cell. What I really always hope to get from these supply crates is power cells and batteries, because they're one of the consumables that you always run out of. I have done this before on other playthroughs, so I do know where I'm going. In the engine room, in the water, there are some, don't honestly remember what they're called, but they're basically Subnautica's version of leeches. And they latch onto you, and you have to attack them with whatever it is you're carrying. And just realized that I never got a welder. So, other than grabbing that little upgrade for my Cyclops, I can't actually fix the leaks. And since my Seamoth is damaged, a welder could also fix that. So I guess it is time to go build a welder. I feel kind of stupid. Well, at least now you know that I'm not pre-scripting these. I am honestly playing it, and yeah, making stupid mistakes. So, falling damage has not been implemented in the game, whether into water or onto solid surfaces. So feel free to jump as far down as you want. So what do we need for the welder? Magnesium and crash powder. Alright, magnesium needs salt deposits, and crash powder is a little tricky to get. So, crashes are one of the organisms in the game, and they're actually one of the hostile organisms. What they do is they're kind of the suicide bombers of Subnautica. They live inside what are called crash plants. They're in caves, and they will come out of their crash plants and swim towards you and explode if you don't kill them quickly enough. They're faster than you are, so they're basically impossible to outrun. And you can find them in most cave systems. Check out down here, crash. I find one, and then does it actually have any crash powder? Nope. Most disappointing crash ever. Well, we might as well check inside this giant coral tube. I know that there are caves that connect to it. can get me. There we go, there's some crash powder. Awesome. And can I get out? Of course not. So what are the chances that I get out of here with my crash powder? Oh, not terrible actually. I feel lucky. That probably shouldn't have worked. Ouch. Yeah, harvesting crash powder is dangerous. Not in the least bit safe. Yeah, both of the medkits that I got from the Aurora have now been used up, so. Also need salt. So one trick is that salt is fairly frequently found around acid mushroom patches. But it's also found all over the place elsewhere. So you can never really stop looking. Some. Oh, one quick thing I'm going to do is make a fabricator in my my Cyclops. So just like the sea base, you can make a number of things in the sea moth, or Cyclops. One of them being the fabricator. So just like you can in your sea base or your escape pod, you can cook food and make items here. So let's double check here. We still need magnesium, which is going to require one more salt. I might actually have some salt stored in my storage locker. Let's find out. Yep. Alright. So here we go, magnesium. Actually, I might as well pick up a little bit more so I can make some bleach and make some disinfectant water with it. Look at that, all that looking for salt, and I didn't have to do it. Well, here we go, the Welder. So I think first I will fix my sea moth. I think it deserves to be fixed. wrong button.
All systems online.
You want to use the right mouse button. Basically, you just get close enough. And there you go, fixed. Let me in? Ah. That was weird. Alright, let's get back to the Aurora now that I have a working welder, and there's a point to it. Alright, here we go. Okay, so the easiest two leaks are these ones that are above the surface of the water, but the other ones are below it, so... You can find them based on these little sparks that you can see leaking out there. And here is one of these little bloodsuckers. Got him. You can kill them before they attach, but most of the time I don't see them and then they just sneak up on me and grab me by the arm and start sucking my blood in. It is actually pretty cool that you can see the blood going into their translucent bodies, so... I mean, sure, it's a little gross, but it's a nice touch. Heard another one. So there's a no damage cheat that you can access through the debug menu. If you access it and one of these little leech guys latches onto you, you won't actually be able to shake them off. So what you have to do is disable it and then attack it. It's a little annoying, and it will mean that you'll lose some health, even though you've been playing with your God mode enabled. But I mean, I don't really care that it disadvantages you. You're cheating. What do I care? Did I miss? Yeah, I did. Maybe I didn't. Where is that last leak? Once you fix the last leak, you'll get an announcement from your computer letting you know that the radiation will dissipate in a relatively short amount of time. So after it dissipates, then you can get the rebreather, the still suit, and put all those on without any worry. Alright.
Attention. High energy particle containment field restored. Auto decontamination sequence initiated. Aquatic radiation levels.
You can get out that way
to safe levels in
through that hole,
3 days.
but I don't recommend it because when you go through that hole, it puts you out not near where you would have come in if you came in the way I did. And it takes a while to go through it, so you might run out of air depending on how many tanks you have. And once you're out there, if you're not near your Cyclops, you're vulnerable to the Reapers. Just overall, it's not a great idea. But there you go. I have fixed the leaks in the Aurora, and heading back to my Cyclops. And I think that's going to be it for me for today. Thank you for watching.